Hello, welcome then to another update of Virtual Team League, Week 5. Look back, have a look at those league tables. We've got the promotion and relegation coming up very shortly in Season 3. Also, we're going to have a little look at the transfer market and just a word of advice on that if you're looking to move teams this season. And we've got Anders Osman, the creator of Go Darts Pro, be joining us for a chat later on. So let's have a look back then at Week 5. Okay then, last week, let's have a look at the Premier League. Right, we've got Virtual Ravens 1 still out in front on 6-2-3-1 after 5 weeks. We've got England Invaders very close behind on 6-2-6-6. And Team Sunborn make the top 3 there with 5-9-5-1. Just a reminder, gold stars denoting those that have had the best week out of the league, and Team Sunborn had a couple of those in their interim league as it's their first season. And then those with the yellow arrows pointing upwards, they've obviously risen a position, so PDA Virtual Team and the Tewkesbury Titans going in the right direction there. Looking ahead to the end of the season, so we've got promotion and relegation. Well, it's relegation from this league. Team USA 1, Virtual Ravens 2 and Untouchable Slims hovering around at that point at the moment. And the championship table, lots of activity at the end of the season here with promotion and relegation from this league. Top of the shop at the moment, Irish All Stars 5-1-9-0, but very close behind Virtual Regulators in second. Bristol Dynamo in third, and as you can see by the yellow arrows, some of them going in the right direction. So we've got Virtual Polish Team, Team Pure, and Bristol Dynamo, Virtual Regulators all having a good week there. Those hovering around the relegation, Live Darts Iceland, Virtual Polish Team and the Globetrotters, but as you can see by the figures here, very, very tight each week. And finally then League 1, Darts in Stoke out front again with 4-6-1-2, and we've got FC Panikkuk in second from Holland there, and the Blackburn Youth Darts Academy Panthers in third position. As you can see, Paignton Darts Academy and the Jaguars and Panthers have all had a good week going in the right direction, and those looking for promotion, so 3 from this league, Darts in Stoke, FC Panikkuk and the Panthers looking in a good position for promotion into the championship. There we go then, a roundup of week 5. So just 2 weeks to go for the end of season 2. And one thing we do need to mention is if you are on the move or you are in the transfer market, the deal needs to be done by the last Sunday of week 7. So that means that you're in the right team when you go into season 3. So in a couple of weeks' time, if you're looking to move, let's get that done in the last week of the season. Once you've finished your original team, that is, your team night, and then make the transfer happen so you are in the right team for the start of season 3. Okay, so let's move on. And this week, as I promised, we're going to have a catch-up with Anders Osman from Go Darts Pro and how all this came about for Anders on the Go Darts Pro platform. Righto, folks, as promised, we have the creator, the founder of Go Darts Pro, Anders Osman. Hi, Anders, how are you?
Hi, Darren. Thanks, I'm good. And you?
Good. Bit of an exclusive. I'm not sure any of our team have either seen you. I know some of the virtual players may have met you on their travels playing darts, but it's just interesting to get a feel of where this all started, why you into darts, and why Go Darts Pro. There's a few questions.
It's a few questions. It's a long story. How many hours do you got?
4.
Yeah. No, I played a lot of darts in the early 90s. Me and some friends playing darts, and I actually created the games like this back then, but on my big fat computer locally.
In the 90s?
Early 90s, yeah. I was a developer since late 80s, so I'm an old guy. And we created tournaments and training games to keep us busy and improving. And we played a lot. And but somehow I moved from town to another town, and I lost the old friends, and somehow I lost the track of darts.
Right.
So I've always had the darts, like a big passion and love for darts, watching darts on TV. But since I couldn't have my own dartboard at home, I get away from darts in some way. And
yeah. So it's a passion from playing the game, or is it a passion for practicing and training in the game? Because the Go Darts Pro platform, really, it's almost like you've got a coach in your pocket. You know, there's so much going on there. So is it your passion about trying to improve the game players now, or is it something that you just so interested you just keep coming up with these ideas?
Yeah, I really like the feeling of just playing darts. So most of the time I am playing darts on my own, practicing or setting up goals for my own, and I've always been like that. I was a coach in basketball in the 80s, 90s, and I loved to create ideas to improve for the players to improve in basketball. So it's been natural for me to come up with ideas to improve, and I really like the meditative part of just throwing darts hours after hours. I really love that part, so it is important for me.
Well, obviously, for those that are on these shores, they'll notice your accent. So explain. You're Swedish by birth. You're from Sweden. You work in Sweden, and all this is created in Sweden.
Yeah. I'm from Sweden. I live in Gothenburg on the west coast, and it's freezing cold right now. Usually it isn't, but this winter has been really cold for a few weeks. So so it's
for
good
those
to stay indoors and play darts.
For those of us in the UK, we just had a bit of that last week, so it's all your fault. Is darts huge in Sweden?
No, it isn't. It was bigger. I remember when I played in the 90s, it was bigger. There was a store where you can buy darts and dartboards, but it slowly have decreased. But I'm planning to change that.
Yeah. So, without being too technical, when you write a book, you probably sketch out the story and maybe get some bits on paper before you start typing away your book. Where does the creativity come? I mean, do you literally just sit right? Okay, I'm going to create a game that does this, this, and this, I mean, where does all that come from? Or do you have help, friends, or is it just in your head that what you think is the next game and what the next challenge will be?
It is different, and I've had a lot of help during the time I've been working with Go Darts Pro. A lot of games I came up with myself when I'm practicing. I like to have some kind of challenging to put me under pressure when I'm practicing and playing. Then I try to find different ways to keep me inspired as well, because that's really important, to stay inspired and find ways to compete with yourself when you're practicing. So
you're very much about, rather than the repetition of practice, yours is very much about challenging yourself during practice.
Yeah. And going back to my the story I started with, I moved to town and got away from darts. But in 2017, it was a catastrophic year for me to start with. We got a call on the New Year's Eve. A close friend of us had died, and it was we took it really hard. And a few weeks after his funeral, me and my wife went on our honeymoon to Mauritius. Should have the perfect trip, and I got sick on the first day, and I was sick for the whole trip in influenza.
Wow.
I've never been so sick, so I was really, really bad. I had a very high fever, and to make that trip a bit more special, I ate something really bad on my way home. So I was sick, stomach pain for another
really, but,
2 or 3 weeks. So having your own company, that really built up a lot of stress and pressure. So I think it was like in mid-June, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't for like 3 weeks. I was in really bad shape, and I felt that I'm heading right to getting burned out.
Yeah.
So I sat down and started to think and trying to find ways what I liked previous in my life and what I enjoyed doing. And the first thing that came to my mind was darts. playing darts. So I asked my lovely and understanding wife Suzanne if I could set up my dartboard again. Luckily she said yes. Wow. So I brought it down from the attic. It was a real old from the early 90s. And but the first, I remember the feeling of the first darts. It was, I felt somehow I was back in. And,
yeah.
I was. So and after a few evenings playing darts, mainly just practicing, suddenly I could sleep again. I was relaxed. I am. So that really helped me. It was the turning point for me. So
well, so all of this, in a way, has come out of adversity. That you're in this position, you know, to make that decision out of that horrendous story, really. But you know,
yeah,
in a way, if that hadn't happened, maybe it wouldn't be sort of where things are today.
Oh, sure.
Wow, what a story. Is it just you that does that, or have you got like somebody to help with the program, or you do the entire thing, the stats, the games, the icons, the colors, I mean, everything?
Yeah, I've done all of the games and every coding bit about it, but I've had a lot of help from a few members I call ambassador members that are helping me testing new games, testing new ideas. I can send them a few sketches and they can give me feedback which way to go. So I've had very good help with that. But the coding, the photos, the colors, the icons, that's me.
it just, again, you look through it and it's so stable. You can use any device. You've got an app, you've got the web pages, and then obviously, I suppose I'm going to shout about it, the work you do with the JDC and Steve Brown. I mean, the teams, the virtual, individual JDC virtual. You've got all the academy systems sort of within Go Darts Pro. I mean, has that been quite a refreshing thing over the years to be partnering the JDC?
Yeah, of course. That's been a huge part for me. I came across the JDC routine on like a PDF online, and I thought it was a great routine, and I loved playing it, but I hated to print it and write it down. So
yeah.
So I thought it was perfect to add on Go Darts Pro, and I think it was like the 9th game on Go Darts Pro I added. So and a few months later, I got in contact with Steve and you. So it's been a huge help for me to find ways to create new games and get feedback from the juniors and the coaches. It's been really helpful.
Good. I remember your interaction with the JDC actually in Gibraltar with the World Championships. So that people are aware, you don't just sit in a room and develop games all the time. I mean, you get out there and you're chatting to people that play, getting your feedback, I guess, from adults and probably the youngsters as well. And also, you're quite a keen photographer as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been doing that all my life as well. Mostly for fun in the beginning, but then in late 90s, I also have been doing it for business-wise.
And there is one other thing I must mention: drums.
Drums, yes.
Talk to me about drums.
Drums, music is one of my biggest passion, and it has been since forever. And I started to play drums when I was 14, and my idea was that I would be a rock star by 18 or something. It didn't happen, but I had a lot of good times playing drums in different bands.
There's some great bands come out of Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. And finally, I've got to ask, the logo.
Yep.
Where did that come from? Is there anything significance to it, or is it purely something you designed?
It is a skull, of course, as you can see, and playing in the metal bands, it is somehow connected with skulls and different things. And so the previous band I played with also had a skull as a logo. So when I started to came up with the name GoDarts Pro, I needed some symbol or something, and the first thing I came to my mind was, why not add a skull in the beginning?
Yeah.
I created the games for myself, and when I made it public, I needed some to wrap it up in some way, and so I added took a lot of nice photos to make it look professional, and I added the logo as well. So and that's also one funny thing, that a lot of people think that GoDarts Pro is a huge company with tons of developers, and so I get that question a lot, and so sometimes I blame some other developer, or I will talk to Anders on the on the financials or something. So.
But I suppose finally you've got to be happy. It's 2021. You know, you've got a lot of members. You've got thousands of darts being thrown on your platform regularly. You must be hugely satisfied with where it's at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a journey for sure, and the last year it's been growing a lot. So like 500% or something in 1 year, and thanks to COVID, so something good came out of that, at least. So people need to have some way to practice and stay inspired. So and I really love the feedback I get from the members and the coaches. And I try to have a lot of contact in the support when I put my support cap on, and then I'm Anders at the support.
Good man, good man. Pleasure, absolute pleasure to catch up with you. I hope people found that interesting. Keep up the great work. Keeps us all engaged. And let's see what the rest of 2021 brings.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Nice chatting with you. Yeah,
great stuff.
Take care.
There we are then. That's week 5 done, and we're into the last couple of weeks of the season. Don't forget, if you want to start a team up, or you know somebody that wants to get involved, you can start a team at any point. We have the interim league for that, so it doesn't matter where we are in the season, you can have a new team. Also, if you are looking to move team, that needs to be done by the end of the season, so you are ready to then start season 3 in your new team. Promotion and relegation to come, so lots to play for. I think it's worthy of a note of those that play this that have been at Q School, whether it be Sam Kankett or we've got Alan Suter and the like. You know, all the best to those guys that are playing the PDC School. We're waiting for you to come back, and that probably explains why some of the scores are superb. There's some great dart players out there, some super scores each week coming in on JDC Virtual Team League. So, on to week 6. Enjoy your darts.